Hello students, so in my last lecture we studied about monosaccharides and now in this lecture we will study about the disaccharides. So what are disaccharides? Disaccharides are made up of two monosaccharides. These two monosaccharides units can be same also or different also. And these disaccharides on hydrolysis or reaction with water and in the presence of dilute acids give rise to two monosaccharides. These two monosaccharides are actually linked together by the ether linkage or which is also known as glycosidic linkage. So glycosidic linkage is formed by the removal of water from the two molecules of monosaccharides. So we all have studied the structure of monosaccharide. There we saw there were H and OH groups. So between the two monosaccharide units, from the two OH groups, water is given out and the glycosidic linkage is formed. So at least one of the two monosaccharide units must use its anomeric hydroxyl group in formation of the glycosidic linkage. The three most common disaccharides are sucrose, maltose and lactose. So the example is sucrose, and sucrose is made up of alpha D glucose and beta D fructose. Alpha D glucose, beta D fructose together reacts to give you sucrose. Or we can say sucrose on hydrolysis gives you one molecule of alpha D glucose and one molecule of beta D fructose. So here in the alpha D glucose, what happens? Glucose is a six-membered ring, and on the first carbon, that is the anomeric carbon, H is on the top, OH is below. That is why it is called alpha D glucose. And here in the second carbon, you see H is on the top, OH is below. Third carbon, OH is on the top, H is below. Fourth carbon, H is on the top, OH is below. And fifth carbon forms a hemiacetal ring, and sixth carbon is CH2OH. While in beta D glucose, you see on the second carbon, OH is on the top, CH2OH is below. That is why we call it as beta D fructose. Third carbon, OH is on the top, H is below. Fourth carbon, H is on the top, OH is below. And fifth carbon, CH2OH group is attached. So this is, and fifth carbon also forms the hemiketal group, hemiketal linkage. So that is why this is called beta D fructose. Now when alpha D glucose and beta D fructose react, the two OH of the two different molecules, they interact and water molecule is given out and glycosidic linkage is formed. So here you see this is the glycosidic linkage being formed between the C1, that means the first carbon of alpha D glucose, and C2, that is the second carbon of beta D fructose. So this linkage is known as glycosidic linkage, alpha beta 1 to glycosidic linkage, and this is the molecule of sucrose. So enzyme used for hydrolysis of sucrose is invertase, and just now we saw how the hydrolysis took place, how the formation took place. The reverse of formation is the hydrolysis. So in the formation, what had happened? The C1 carbon of alpha D glucose had interacted with C2 carbon of fructose, beta D fructose, and the glycosidic linkage was formed. This sucrose is obtained from cane sugar. The sucrose is dextrorotatory and its optical rotation is plus 66.5. So on hydrolysis of sucrose, what is formed? Glucose is formed and the fructose is formed. So the dextrorotation of sucrose is plus 66.5. What is dextrorotation? That we had studied that while finding out the optical rotation of sucrose, sucrose rotates the PPL, that is plane polarized light, towards right hand direction, clockwise direction by the angle 66.5. So this is dextrorotatory. When you do the hydrolysis of sucrose, then glucose and fructose is obtained. The glucose is also dextrorotatory and its optical rotation is plus 52.7 degrees. While fructose is levorotatory and its optical rotation is minus 92.4. So we see here the reactant is dextrorotatory, but when you see the products together, when you sum up the optical rotations of fructose and glucose, it comes out to be minus 39.7. So that means the net solution, the solution is having net levo rotation. So what has happened? The dextrorotatory reactant has formed the levorotatory products. So inversion has happened. Such a thing is called inversion. So hydrolysis of sucrose is led to the inversion. That means the dextrorotatory has converted to levorotatory. So this sugar is called, the product is called invert sugar. So the potential aldehyde and ketonic groups of both the monosaccharide units involved in the formation of glycosidic bond. So sucrose is a non-reducing sugar. Now let's see. Let's explain that. Sucrose is soluble in water, sweet in taste, and just now we said it is a non-reducing sugar. That is why it gives that negative tolerance test and negative failing test. Now let's see why it is non-reducing sugar. So for seeing the reducing and non-reducing sugar, whether the sugar is non-reducing or reducing sugar, we have to see that on any one of the carbon should contain the hemiacetal group. That means it should have H, OH and O, ether linkage. Any one carbon should have all the three things. So here you see in this glucose, if you see the structure of alpha D glucose, if you see the structure of alpha D glucose, it is having H, OH and ether linkage on one carbon. So that is why glucose itself is a reducing sugar. While if you see fructose, fructose is having OH, carbon chain and O. That means hemiketal linkage it's having on any one of the carbons. So even itself fructose is also a reducing sugar. But when you see sucrose, in the structure of sucrose, none of the carbon are having all the three. That means they should have H, OH and the ether group. If all the three things are present in any one of the carbon, the sugar is called reducing sugar. But here in the structure of glucose, there is H, OH and O present. So glucose itself is reducing sugar. Fructose on its own is reducing sugar. But if you see the molecule of sucrose, it is a non-reducing sugar because none of the carbon atom is having all the three groups together. So it is a non-reducing sugar and it gives negative tolerance test and negative failings test. Now let's see the next disaccharide, maltose. Maltose is made up of alpha D glucose, 2 units of alpha D glucose. So alpha D, or we can say alpha D glucose, 2 molecules combine to form maltose. Now alpha D glucose structure we are familiar with. It is a 6-membered ring. First carbon has H on the top, OH below. That is why it is called alpha D glucose. Then second carbon is having H on the top, OH below. Third carbon is having OH on the top, H below. Fourth carbon is having H on the top, OH below. Fifth carbon is forming a hemiacetal group. And the sixth carbon here is forming is CH2OH. So when the two alpha D carbons together come, then C1 of the first molecule of glucose and C4 of the second molecule of glucose interacts, water is given out and maltose is formed. Okay, so what will be the linkage? Alpha 1,4 glycosidic linkage. Both the glucose molecules are alpha D glucose and they interact and water molecule is given out and this glycosidic linkage is formed. So that is why it is called alpha 1,4 glycosidic bond. Now our next question is that whether maltose is a reducing sugar or a non-reducing sugar. So let's see whether it is a reducing sugar or non-reducing sugar. So here what I had told you for seeing the whether it is a reducing or non-reducing sugar, any one of the carbon atom should have H, OH and the ether linkage on the same carbon. Here you see this carbon is having H, OH and the ether linkage. That is why maltose is a reducing sugar and it gives positive tolerance test and positive failing test. Third example is lactose. Lactose is made up of beta D galactose and beta D glucose. So when beta D galactose and beta D glucose together come together, they form lactose. So in this beta D galactose, what is the difference between beta D glucose and beta D galactose? So beta D glucose, this is a beta D glucose. Here what happens, only difference between alpha D glucose and beta D glucose is the position of H and OH on the first anomeric carbon. That means here in this carbon you see OH is on the top, H is below. Second carbon is similar, H above, OH below. Third carbon, OH above, H below. Fourth carbon, H above, OH below. Fifth carbon is forming a Me acetyl ring, and this is CH2OH. So beta D glucose and alpha D glucose, what is the difference? Only the position of H and OH on the anomeric carbon differs. So this is beta D glucose. And what is the difference between glucose and galactose? In galactose, what happens? Beta D glucose and beta D galactose, what is the difference? In beta D galactose, of course, on the anomeric carbon, OH is on the top, H is below. That is why it is beta. But galactose, in the molecule of galactose, what happens? On the fourth carbon, OH is on the top, H is below. While here in glucose, H was on the top, OH was below on the fourth carbon. So this is beta D galactose and beta D glucose. So in beta D galactose and beta D glucose together, two OH interact and water is given out, and lactose is formed. Okay. So here this is the glycosidic linkage formed between the two OH groups. Now our question is to see whether lactose is a reducing sugar or a non-reducing sugar. The enzyme used for hydrolysis of lactose is lactase. This formation I already explained. It is obtained from milk and it is also known as the milk sugar. Now what we have to see? Next thing that we have to see is whether the sugar is reducing or non-reducing. So for seeing whether it is a reducing sugar or non-reducing sugar, we have to see that any one of the anomeric carbon should have all these three groups present. That is H, OH and O. It is having H, OH and O on the first carbon. That is why it is a reducing sugar. And it gives positive tolerance test and positive failing test. So this is called beta 1,4 glycosidic. This linkage is called beta 1,4 glycosidic linkage because it is being formed between the C1 of beta D galactose and C4 of beta D glucose. So that is why it is beta 1,4 glycosidic linkage. Now polysaccharides. So polysaccharides are formed by the large number of monosaccharide units, and these monosaccharide units are linked by glycosidic linkage. So ultimately they form linear polymers or branch polymers. They are non-reducing. So they are not sugars, they are not sweet tests except for insulin. The examples are starch, cellulose and glycogen. So starch, the enzyme used for hydrolysis is amylase. Starch is a storage carbohydrate of plants, important nutrients of humans and other animals. Starch is a polymer of alpha D glucose, and starch has got two components. One is amylose, another is amylopectin. Amylose is 15 to 20% and amylopectin is 80 to 85%. Now what is the difference between amylose and amylopectin? Amylose contains 15 to 20% of starch and amylopectin contains 80 to 85% of starch. Amylose is soluble in water, amylopectin is insoluble. Amylose is unbranched helical structure while amylopectin is a branched chain structure. Now this amylose contains number of units of alpha glucose, that is around 200 to 1000 units, and they are linked by alpha 1,4 glycosidic linkage. While amylopectin contains two linkages. One is alpha 1,4 glycosidic linkage and another one is alpha 1,6 glycosidic linkage. Amylose gives blue color with iodine while amylopectin gives blue violet color with iodine. So in amylose, just now you saw in the difference that amylose is made up of alpha D glucose. The monomer of amylose is alpha D glucose. So this alpha D glucose units, there is a linkage between C1 of one of the alpha D glucose and C4 of another alpha D glucose. So they together linked by the glycosidic linkage, water is given out and a long chain of alpha-1,4 long chain containing alpha-1,4 glycosidic linkages form. So basically it is made up of alpha-D glucose, and alpha-D glucose, carbon 1 and carbon 4, they combine glycosidic linkages form, water is given out and the long chain is formed. So this is a linear polymer. Amylose is a linear polymer. While in amylopectin, what happens? Apart from this alpha-1,4 glycosidic linkage that was present in amylose, will be present here, but apart from there is one more linkage. That means the carbon 6 of one of the molecules of alpha-D glucose links with the carbon 1 of another molecules of alpha-D glucose of the different chain. So this is one of the chains, this is another chain. So between these chains there is a bonding. That means the carbon 1 of the alpha-D glucose of the first chain gets links with the OH of the another molecule of sixth carbon atom of the other alpha-D glucose. So there is a alpha-1,6 glycosidic linkage formed in amylopectin. So amylopectin contains two types of linkages, alpha-1,4 glycosidic linkage and alpha-1,6 glycosidic linkage. Next is cellulose. Cellulose also formula is C6H10O5-Folan. The enzyme used for hydrolysis is cellulase, and cellulose, the difference between cellulose and starch is that cellulose is made up of beta D glucose. The monomer for the cellulose is beta D glucose, and the linkage is beta-1,4 glycosidic linkage. For humans do not have enzymes to digest cellulose. Cellulose forms a fiber, and it does not give a color with the iodine. So let's see the cellulose formation. Cellulose is made up of beta D glucose. Beta D glucose is the monomer for cellulose. So here you see this is beta D glucose, where OH is on the top and H is below on the first carbon atom. This links to the C1 of the first unit of beta D glucose links with the C4 of the another beta D glucose unit, and together they form the glycosidic linkage. So likewise, beta D glucose adds up and it forms beta-1,4 glycosidic link, and thus cellulose is formed. Now my question is whether cellulose is a reducing sugar or a non-reducing sugar. So in none of the carbon atoms you will see that all the three groups are present, H, OH and ether group. In this you see O is there, H is there, but there is no OH group. So none of the carbon. So likewise it will form the long chain of infinite beta D glucose coming together, where none of the carbon will have all these three groups present. So that is why cellulose is a non-reducing sugar. And similar with the starch, starch is also a non-reducing sugar. Now let's see glycogen. Glycogen is C6H10O5-Folan. It is a storage carbohydrate of animals and is present in liver, muscles and brain. It is also present in yeast and fungi. And glycogen has a structure similar to that of amylopectin, but it is more highly branched and it gives red color with iodine. So these are some of the important questions from the topic we studied till now. Chalo, thank you.